Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Veda and this is The Simple Budget. Here on my channel I show you how my family is using the zero-based budgeting method in order to get out of debt and simplify our financial life. If that sounds like content that you're interested in, I would love it if you would hit the subscribe button and join our little crew here. And with that being said, let's get into today's video. Well, hello everyone and happy bonus content Tuesday. I hope that your week is going well so far. Today's video has been long requested here. So if you happen to be new, this is the first video of mine that you're catching. I have an Etsy shop in which I sell basically just all the budgeting supplies that we in the cash stuffing community use. I make envelopes, I make dashboards for your binders, I make placeholders. I have a variety of printable options as well for like budget planners and those sorts of things. And I also earn income through my YouTube channel. So this qualifies me sort of as a small business. I do not have to file an LLC, and currently I don't have one, but it's definitely on my radar of things to do. But from a tax and IRS standpoint, it's like gig income or side income or small business income. And how that benefits our family, obviously, is that it enables us to pay our debt down faster. And then it also supplements some of the non-essential categories in our budget. And so what folks have been requesting here for a really long time is to see how I budget that side income, particularly because I settle on certain percentages for some of the business expenses. Now, one of the things that we have been figuring out through our tax prep person is that even though I have not filed an LLC, my business expenses are tax deductible, which is really lovely because I always see, and you'll see this in the video, 25% comes off the top of my income from Etsy and YouTube and goes towards taxes. So if you have side income or gig income and you have expenses associated with that, make sure that you are saving your receipts and you are notating the expenses that are specific to the business that you are in. So for me, that's all of the materials and supplies and just everything that I need in order to make my small business function. So anyways, now that we've gotten that out of the way, these videos are not going to be long because it's not as lengthy of a breakdown of categories when it comes to the budgeting. So I thought I was gonna have to move my coffee, but I don't think I'm going to. Oh, maybe I will. I might have to move her out of the way. Okay. So, oh goodness, these are like notes and things that I keep for my own like personal budgeting purposes. Speaking of my Etsy shop, this planner that I have in here is available in my Etsy shop as a digital download or a printable I also have a printable version. The digital one you can use in a notes app in your tablet, but the printable one is for those of us who are paper girlies who like to print things out. Oh, where did that go? Oh, you know what? I think my husband still has that. Or maybe not. I don't know. I have to figure out where my April calendar went. Anyways, let me just go into, oh, there it is. That's weird. Why is that there? I have no idea what is happening in my own budget planner. So here we go. So I'm going to just go ahead and zoom you. I'm going to pull this out, I think, and zoom you guys in so that we can kind of go over how I go about making these decisions. All right, here we go. So first, before I forget the number, because it's just sitting in my head somewhere, my Etsy income for the first week was $54.98. $54.98. Now, this was actually an unusually low week, but I don't want to deter any of you who might be thinking about like opening an Etsy shop and how much work you put into it versus like the payout, so to speak. So I don't know if any of you know how Etsy works, but basically whenever, I'm going to just give you a little explanation because we have the time. Whenever I get a sale, Etsy takes a certain percentage off the top of that for their own, I don't know, business. Like basically it's the cost of being able to do business with them. They do a lot of the heavy lifting as far as remitting like state sales tax and stuff to the appropriate authorities and all that sort of stuff. Plus just for the pleasure of being able to use their platform, they take a certain percentage of each of my transactions. And so that just comes right off the top. Whenever, so then the rest of the money that I get is the money from the sale of the actual item. And then if it's a physical product that needs to be shipped, I also get the shipping money from that. But the money, I'm not charged for shipping until I actually ship the product out. So in a case like this, so that's kind of why this number is actually so low from this week, because like 2 weeks ago, I had gotten a bunch of sales, but I didn't ship them out until last week. And so that ate away at my income because this week was lower in sales. And so, but the shipping money had already been sent to my bank account, like as income from the week before. I know this might be confusing to some of you. I'm just trying to offer an explanation for why there's like such an ebb and flow from what I make from week to week in Etsy. So anyway, so a lot of the shipping money that I actually spent to ship out products from this pay period was put in my checking account the week before. I know that was like a really wonky explanation for what happens, but let me try to sum that up. I am paid the shipping fee right away, but I don't actually pay for shipping until I ship the product out. And there is a time lapse. So I give myself, I think like 5 to 7 business days to make the product and ship it out. And so if I don't ship it in the time period where I was actually given the shipping money, it will come out of my next pay. And so that's why this particular pay this week is so low. But it's not that big of a deal. I don't stress about it from week to week. I do have like a goal number in mind that I like to hit every week, but I don't get pressed about it. This is side income. It's helping to, get us to where we're going as far as our financial goals are concerned. But I feel generally successful in my Etsy shop. And so I don't feel the need to like fuss over a low income week, basically. I hope none of that was confusing, but if it is, I do apologize. So I'm just going to kind of go over the explanation of all of the breakdown of the pay, how I arrived at certain percentages, and then we'll just break this dollar amount down. So like I mentioned to you guys earlier, 25% comes off the top. So Etsy and my YouTube income are both untaxed. That means that Etsy and YouTube do not take the time to take the federal tax or state tax, but I live in a no income state, a no income tax state. So that's irrelevant. But from the federal tax standpoint, Etsy and YouTube do not take the time to do that for everybody who's earning money from them. It is your responsibility to take the taxes off the top and make sure that you are claiming your income from them at tax time. So 25% comes off the top for us. And then this is only a once a month charge. So I have a Canva membership, and with Canva, I design a lot of the products, or all of the products that I sell in my Etsy shop. And so that is I think it's like $119.99 once a year. So I just take out $10 a month. And so I always just pull that from my first pay, even if it's as low as this, even if I only made like, I don't know, $10 or something. Well, I guess if I only made $10, I would need to remit most of that to taxes. And so then I would charge Canva for myself the week after. But This has just always been my practice to pull straight out at the beginning of the month, the $10, and then, anything after that. Obviously, I don't have to do this every week. And then next up, excuse me, for our debt, we used to do 10% of my Etsy and YouTube income would go toward our debt payment. We have knocked that down to 5% because we've increased our personal, in our regular budget. So if you see my April budget with me, I'll go ahead and leave that linked for you right now. We increased our goal number that we put toward our debt now every single month until we pay it off. So we're giving it $2,500 a month. I think that's $2,500 a month. And so what we have done now since we increased that is we decreased the percentage that we give our debt every single month from the side income. So it's going to be getting 5%. Then this was the real question, was how do you break down what you give to your business? So these are numbers that I have had to constantly change depending on how I felt they were most effective. So for example, I think the last 2 months I was giving materials 12%. Materials is just like what it sounds. So I make vellum envelopes and I make dashboards, and I have very minimal options available in my shop. Excuse me, I cannot figure out this tickle in my throat. So my vellum envelopes require the use of vellum and then laminating sheets. And then I offer 2 different options for that. I have matte and glossy. And so I need to make sure that my stock of, the sun is coming out. That's fun. Wow, that's probably really impacting you guys. I get morning sun in this room, so it's really bright right now. We're having funky North Texas weather. Anyways, I need vellum, I need laminating sheets, I need cardstock. I use 2 different kinds of vellum depending on the item that I'm actually making. My placeholders and my dashboards use a thicker vellum, and then my envelopes use a thinner vellum. And so all of that falls under materials. And that is the bulk of my business expenses, frankly, is just the stuff that I need to make them. Equipment for a really long time was getting 10% actually, because I wanted to make sure that I had enough money in here in my equipment envelope to replace my printer if it just went out. Fortunately, that has not happened. And fortunately, by front loading how much I gave that category, I now have enough money to repurchase a printer should the need arise. I'm really hoping that I don't need to. It's only a year old. And so now what I've done is I've decreased my equipment percentage to 5% from each pay, because now I'm just kind of fluffing that envelope, because really the only things that come from equipment are my printer, and then also laminators, and I have 2 of those. And so I would imagine probably at some point they'll burn out, but we're just gonna ride that train as long as we can. And then also from this would be my paper slicer and blades for that, my corner rounders, hole punches, that sort of stuff. So that all falls under equipment, but because I have I think I have just over $300 in that right now. I'm so comfortable with where that is. And so I'm reducing the percentage from 10% to 5%. So if you're thinking about how to kind of prepare for business expenses, factor those sorts of things in. If you use equipment that's expensive, make sure that you are setting enough of a percentage aside so that you can replace that equipment in the event of an emergency. I have cash flowed my Etsy shop from the very beginning. So I definitely front loaded my percentages on things because I wanted to make sure that I could replace the equipment in the event of an emergency. And so if you have a similar situation, make sure that you're doing that. That would be my number one piece of advice to you, because everything else you can kind of play with the numbers, but you really want to make sure that the bread and butter of what you're doing is funded in the event of it going kaput on you. Next up is shipping supplies. And this one has changed some here and there too. At first I was only giving it like 2 or 3% of what my income was, and that just was not enough. Like my shipping labels in and of themselves are expensive enough to kind of wipe that out if I'm only giving it 2 to 3% a month. And so then what I did, like after I realized that that was not going to work, I think I increased it to like 8% for a little while. And now I feel like it's built up enough that I can settle at 5% of my income from Etsy and YouTube. Well, YouTube is a different animal. YouTube does not have the same structure. But we'll go over that in my YouTube and Etsy budget with me. I think it's like the third, I think it's going to be the third Etsy pay this month, but that I'll be doing both Etsy and YouTube, and you can kind of see how I structure that as well. So anyways, these are the three things that I sort of account for when it comes to business expenses. I may include another category for business expenses. Like I'm thinking of things like my little thank you cards that I include in my, what's it called? In my actual like physical products that are being shipped out. And I don't know, I'm trying to think of like other just like general business expenses that don't fall under these three categories. So I may do an extra one for that, but right now I'm still able to kind of cash flow what I need to cash flow with these three categories. And so that's really all I'm concerned about. So right now, only 25% of my income is going back into the business, but it used to be like 30 to 35%. And really, I have played with these numbers so much over the months that I'm usually really comfortable with where I settle. I don't feel like I'm shortchanging anything. Because like I said, I've been able to cash flow every expense that has come up in my business with these numbers. So I feel pretty happy sitting here. Next up is all personal stuff. So right now, as you guys know, if you've been around here a while, we are working on finishing up my office so that it functions for both my husband and myself. And because we decreased this to 5%, I was able to increase house project to 15%. It's been getting anywhere from 10 to 20% over the course of time since I've had my Etsy shop. And it will continue pretty much with that. I really like to throw a lot of money at our house project with this, with my side income. It's just important to me to be able to fund these things. And then after those percentages, what I do is I take the remaining dollar amount and then I will just kind of split it among whatever categories I feel like are important in that month. So I always pay, my husband and I are spending money from my Etsy pay. And then right now, as you know, we're, saving up for vacation. We have both family coming into town at the end of May, and then we're also going to be doing a vacation as well. My goal number for our personal budget between our regular income and our side income is at least $100 a month. I budgeted $50 for our regular income. And because there are some other things that I want to be able to cash flow, I am attaching the other $50 here. So if I don't quite use this paycheck plan exactly like it's designed here, but this works for me. So, it does kind of work because for the budget, it's 15% or it's 5% or 5%, 15%. And for the month, I will, I'm budgeting $50. And then down here with our family picks, our family picks are going to cost us $250. And we were able to fund that pretty heavily in the month of March. And so there's only $96 remaining in order to hit our $250 mark. And so that's what I've left here, basically. So I know from week to week, so like if I can only put $6 toward this in next week's paycheck plan for Etsy, I will put $90 in this spot so that I know that I have $90 left to fund for it for the remainder of the month, if that makes sense. So with these home decor dates, his and hers, I don't have specific dollar numbers in mind. And they may end up all being skipped this week just so that I can get some money at Vacation and Family Picks, because if I have a goal number in mind, that's the priority. So I hope that was a reasonable explanation for you guys for how I break this down. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me in the comments. I understand that the way that our brains work or process information is not always going to be the same. And especially the way that I may explain something may not be the way that your brain receives it. But now that I've gone through that explanation, we'll just break down this $54.98 and I'll show you how I do it. So $54.98. And like I mentioned right off the top, I do 25%. And so that's $13.74. I don't do the change. I just do the $13. And so the total for this section between, the $13 for taxes and the $10 for Canva is $23. So that ate away at most of what we have there. And then here we go. So next up is the debt, and that's 5%. So $54.98 times 5% is $2.74. So, but this is where I'll put the change. I always put it at debt. So I'm not going to give it $2.74. I'm going to give it $2.98. Because now that will eliminate the change that we have sitting over here. So $2.98. Here we go. Next up. So do I have any? No. So we've got, this is going to be $2. This is going to be $2 because the 5% here was $2.98. Because this is such a low income week, I'm rounding it down. I'm not going to round it up. Sometimes I'll play with the numbers and round them up. It just depends on what it looks like. But yeah, so here we go. So now $54.98 times 15% is going to be $8. And this is also going to be $8. Oops. Because that's also 15%. So let me see if we actually have anything left over. So $54.98 minus 23 minus 298 minus 8 minus 2 minus 2 minus 8. So I have $9 remaining after that. And I know these numbers are really low, but it all adds up. So don't not do it because you've had like a low income week or something like that. It doesn't matter. Just follow the percentage because it really does work to add up to benefit your business. So with this remaining $9, I'm just going to split it. I'm going to just completely cross out. There will be no spending money for me or my husband, and we're not going to fund dates or home decor because our high priorities here are Vacation and Family Picks. We really want to make sure that we are funding these two things since we have a goal dollar amount in mind. So I'm just going to go ahead and take the $5 or take the $9 and do $5 toward Vacation and $4 toward Family Picks. And that's it. So let me just add these up. I just want to double check all of this. So 16, so that's $29. And I'm just going to double check our amount. So $54.98 minus $23 minus $2.98 minus $29. And we're zeroed out. So we've got a plan for every dollar. And then what we do, I do not stuff this from week to week. I only stuff Etsy and YouTube once a month. And so this money actually just sits in our account except for the debt. The debt payment always, my husband takes it and immediately pays it over to the debt because he is enthusiastically trying to pay this off as soon as possible. So, and plus, with interest and all those sorts of things, like you don't want it to build up. So anyways, but everything else, this money just sits in my checking account and it kind of serves like a buffer for us from week to week. So it's not much, it's $54.98, but it's still in there. It's still in there acting as a buffer in the event of, I don't know, some kind of weird overdraw or something, or unplanned expense. But yeah, so that's it. So that's how we do this. And these categories will stay the same from week to week unless something like random crops up in our budget where we're like, oh shoot, we have to fund that. Let's fund that from Etsy and YouTube. But I just sort of take a look at what our budget looks like and what our different categories look like as far as how they've been funded. And that's how I decide from month to month what I'm going to be putting this Etsy money toward. So vacation is a high priority to us right now. We want to make sure that we're funding our dates, and home decor is something that I have removed from our regular income stuffings and over to Etsy since it's just completely extra. And obviously our family pictures, we need to finish funding that too. So it really is something that you can play around with. And that's what's nice about this. It's side income. So you can say, you know what, we really want to make sure that we're giving some money toward dine out because we have, you know, a family day planned where we're going to be eating out and doing some family fun stuff. And then maybe also buffer up your family fund envelope as well. So that's one of the things that I really like about this side income is that we're able to supplement our our low priority categories with this kind of money in a way that maybe we would fund it if we weren't trying to pay off debt right now. So anyways, I'm going to zoom you guys back out and we will finish out the video. All right. So now that I have you all here, before we end the video, I'm going to announce a little mini giveaway. So what I've decided to do in these little mini budget with me's is also offer like a little thank you for just being part of my financial life in this way, the way that you guys support our family by watching my videos and by buying from my Etsy shop does not go unnoticed or unappreciated. And so in an effort to just kind of give back a little bit, I decided to do giveaways in just these videos. So they're not going to be much. It's just going to be like little things from week to week. And there's only going to be one winner from, week to week, and I will announce it in the following week's video. So the winner from today's giveaway will be announced in next week's mini Etsy budget with me. So today what I am giving away is a cash tray from Funds and Fun. So if you have watched my channel for any length of time, you will have seen me use this cash tray. I absolutely love it. And I love that she makes these. I just think it's so clever. Plus I also love the color options available. She has like colorful ones too, but she has a great line of neutrals. And so, I was immediately attracted to that. And this is what it says on the bottom. It's just so cute. So, all you have to do to be entered into this giveaway is be a public subscriber of my account and just leave me a comment down below telling me which color you would pick if you won. So I will leave her her Etsy shop linked so that you can see. She has a couple of different what's the word I'm looking for? She has a couple different cash tray styles. And so any of them is up for grabs. So you'll just pick it. You'll just tell me which one you would like and what color you would get it in. And I'm going to choose just a winner at random. And I will announce it in my next video. And I'm just going to order it direct from her and have it shipped direct to you from her. So that's it. So good luck to all of you. And yeah, I hope that you even just go check out her Etsy shop and throw her a little support too if you are in the market for a cash tray. So anyways, that's going to do it for me for today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that it gave you a little bit of insight into how I go about making all of this happen here. And if you did enjoy today's video, just go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you don't mind, leave me a comment down below. Even if you don't want to be entered into the giveaway, just come say hi, because it's always fun to see you guys down there in the comments. So anyways, I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I'm actually going to be back here with you on Thursday. So these first 2 weeks of April, I have 4 videos a week because we just have other bonus content to get out. So Thursday's video is going to be our long-awaited debt update. So we gave you our year update back at the beginning of the year. And now this is our Q1 update for our second year of debt payoff. So stay tuned for that one if you want to see the progress that we're making and maybe even a projected payoff date for our debt, which is really exciting too. So anyways, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you back here on Thursday. Bye, everyone.